Hello again and welcome to Reason and Truth Ministries, where we're continuing the teaching on truth and how it relates to us to date. In the West, as scripture was written from a Hebraic perspective in an Eastern concept. Now, we in the West, we deal with a lot of abstract and adjectives. People in the West, in the East, they deal with functionality, they deal with verbs and pragmatic, that which works, that which they can relate with, which we're talking about the five senses: see, touch, taste, smell, and hear. So now we're talking about truth. And truth in itself, it gives what we call a correspondent demonstration for us in this world. Without a correspondent, we can't know truth. Without that which corresponds to that which we are communicating with and communicating to, there is no dialogue or no transfer of information. Truth, as I said before, is what we call an invisible substance. What we said truth was, again, truth is about relationship. Truth is relationship. And that's correspondent is relationship with another thing. And when we're talking about truth in reference to personhood, it goes even deeper than that which is an inanimate object, because we are rational beings. And rational beings, we need to relate rationally in order to come to the conclusion of what is right or what is truth. Because could we know truth? Could we know truth? Yes, we could know truth. How we know we can know truth? We know we can know truth by identity. Last week, remember, we said without knowing you, it's impossible to really know what is true. So this is why now identity is key in order to communicate truth. And remember, we read in John chapter 14 and chapter 8, where Yahshuah, when he was speaking to Pilate, Pilate said, what is truth? Right? And truth in itself, from a Western perspective, is very what? Abstract. It's very distant. But from a Hebraic perspective, it's different. It speaks about firmness. It speaks about that which support every single thing, that which all things comes from. So I want you to remember, anytime you hear truth, think about what? Support. Anytime you hear the word truth, think about what? Support. So now, when you read scripture, you're going to see how now truth relate with support, because words like faith, belief, confidence, these words that has no meaning in themselves, it's very abstract. So it carries no sort of foundation to what Yahshuah is actually saying. So now when Jesus Christ, who can find that scripture for me and help me out with it? Find, I think it's in John chapter 8. John chapter 8 and verse 30. As he was saying these things, many believe in him. So Jesus said to the Jews who have believed him, if you continue in my word, you really are my disciples. You will know the truth, and the truth will make you free. So now, Jesus Christ was talking to the disciples, and he said, now, if you continue in his doctrine. Now, what are doctrine? Doctrines are what? Principles. Doctrines are what we extrapolate from ideas, and we form certain foundation in order to carry out a behavior. So now Jesus Christ, if you continue in his doctrine. So now he is referring to what? The Torah. He is referring to the Tanakh and all what is spoken in the Tanakh in reference to what he is representing. Let me see if I can find the scripture with looking for with Pilate. I can't remember what that scripture is.
John 18:38.
John 18:38. Okay. Thank you. And read it for me.
What is truth? Retorted Pilate. With this, he went out again to the Jews gathered there and said, I find no basis for a charge against him.
Right. Okay. So, Pilate is saying, he's asking, what is truth? But where truth is standing? Truth is standing before Pilate. And Pilate is asking, what is truth? So now, without having the knowledge of truth, can you know truth?
No.
You can stand before truth and what? And not realize that truth is before you. You can stand. Why is that? Why is that? Because you choose not to what? Relate or understand the reality of what is before you. When reality is before you, it's on the what? Deniable. This is the fact. This is the fact that this is a what? A spectacle. I could say what I want. And you could tell me that this is a knife. This is a knife. And then I will ask, well, what is a spectacle? But everybody's saying it's a knife. Does it change the fact that this is a spectacle? Although everyone is saying it's a knife? No, it doesn't. It's the same way with Yahshuah. Yahshuah came and he said, now, I am that which correspond to all what you have been taught. Remember, he was standing before all these people, and they, the Jews, the Pharisees, the Sadducees, they have been taught in Torah, they have been taught in mitzvot, they have been taught the laws. Well, I don't like the word laws. They have been taught in the teachings, which is the Torah. They have been given the direction in how to walk and how to communicate this mitzvot, this Torah. And now he, which is Yahshua HaMashiach, stand before them, and what he did? He now represents all that which has been spoken of. So now he has been spoken of. So now let us see how Christ, even as he is in John chapter 18 and from verse 27, right? Because Pilate said, you are the king, right? And Pilate asks, you say that I am the king. Jesus replied, I was born for this, and I have come into this world for this, to testify of the truth. This is testify of the truth. But what it's actually saying, it's saying that he is what? Corresponding, or he is bringing validity, or he is that which coheres to what? The reality of this book. So now, what is happening is we are seeing something here. So now, without identity, we can't know truth. Did Christ know himself? Yes. Did he understand himself?
Yes.
Yes. Did he ever claim not to be who he is? No. He always stands based upon what scripture said he is. When you look at Isaiah, when you look at Jeremiah, when you look at all these prophets who spoke about him, he now identified with his identity as a man. He identified as with the, with the Adam. He identified with the Adam. Now look at this. This is the definition that we came up with, or I came up with, through the research of a human person. A human person, the Adam, is a man or woman who was designed by the Creator, Yahweh, with the ability to reproduce after her own kind, and reflects the image, shadow of the Creator as a priest, husband, wife, father, mother, teacher, and leader. That in itself is what all reality is based on for us as we move and as we dialogue with people in our community and in our surrounding. Without this, it's impossible to even represent, as 1 Peter 3:15 says, always be prepared, always be ready to give an apologia, which is the Greek word for what? Defense, which is the Hebrew word ashama. A shema, a fence wall, that which is the coral which you put up now to protect, right? That which you have been given. For Yahshuah said, no, hide this word where? In your heart. In your heart. There's a scripture, wow. There's a scripture in I think it's in Isaiah or Jeremiah, and he said, no, and honey and dates he will eat, so that he could what? Discern the what? The truth. Who was talking about? He was talking about John. He was talking about him who is going out into the wilderness, honey and earth. He will eat. Why honey and earth? No, that's for another teaching. But why honey? Honey, in the Jewish culture and custom, honey, when honey was so prized and precious for these people, when they take honey, all these different people used to come and